heard today on this very network? Your buddy Nick Wright.
Truly.
So in about, what would that be, 5-6 hours, me and Roman Reigns going to be hanging out, Brandon, so that'll be good.
There we go. There we go. Hey, I'm excited about it. Ask him the tough questions, Nick. Don't take it easy on him. This is the road, the beginning of the road to WrestleMania, all right? This is the Super Bowl before the Super Bowl. Nick, we need to ask the suits next time around if we can cover this event. It's huge.
I think you probably want to compete,
on the herd.
You want to box people? Why don't you want to wrestle people? Yeah, why don't you go in, throw some people over the top rope, big guy.
Our guy Nick hosting the herd today. Check it out, and then we'll talk about that among other things. All right, we got to take a turn, head back to the NFL now. Lots to discuss, and we learned yesterday that Deshaun Watson requested a trade a few weeks ago. Just coming to light now, Deshaun does have a no-trade clause and thus does have leverage in steering his way to a team of his liking. So where should Deshaun go? How about literally anywhere? A Browns blog even tweeted that Cleveland needed to think about Deshaun Watson, to which Baker Reddit chimed in and said, some of y'all Browns are funny. Nick, is there any team that should not be in on Deshaun?
Oh, absolutely, obviously, clearly. There's one team that shouldn't call them. The Chiefs, and that's the list. That's the list. Folks, I don't care who your quarterback is. If it's not Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson would be an upgrade. Even for the guys he's not currently better than, he's so much younger than those guys, he's an upgrade. So who are the quarterbacks other than Mahomes that you could argue are better than him? Russ and Aaron Rodgers? I think that's the full list. Well, he's more than a decade younger than Aaron Rodgers. He's nearly a decade younger than Russ. So without a question, if you could trade those guys for Deshaun, you would. What about the other young quarterbacks? Baker, I love you. I've been supporting you all year. You're my guy. Deshaun's better than you. Same with Josh Allen.
Flip on him.
Same with Lamar Jackson. Any of those teams, the guys that are that class, those guys who are about to get paid, the class from 3 years ago, Baker, Lamar, and Josh, they're all about to get paid. All of those teams would rather, if they're being honest, they would rather have Deshaun. What about the guys who are about to come into the league or just came into the league? Justin Herbert, you're great. Deshaun's better. Trevor Lawrence, I think you're going to be amazing. I know Deshaun's amazing. So, Brandon, there's 32 teams in the league. 31 should want Deshaun. One of them has him, but he doesn't want to be there, so cross Houston out. The other one's the Chiefs, cross them out. All 30 other teams should be calling up Caserio and saying, can we do some business? Are you interested? Are you intrigued?
No, the real answer is every team outside the Jets. Can we just get a win here, please? We lost the #1 pick. We lost Trevor Lawrence. Let the Jets get a win here. We need this to happen for us. But no, if we're really going to dive into this discussion, there's 3 teams where I just don't think it makes sense. First, let's go to the Seattle Seahawks. You talked about it. You talked about Russell Wilson. Nick, why would you ask Deshaun Watson to go to that same situation where Russell Wilson is just not thriving because of Pete Carroll? Pete Carroll's holding this guy back. He's asking Russell Wilson to hand it off on first down, hand it off on second down, hand it off on third down if it's third and manageable. Like, come on, man. We're going to ask Deshaun Watson to go do the same thing? So that's a wash. You have the Cardinals. You have Kyler Murray out there. Kyler Murray is good enough to get you to the Super Bowl. If you do your job, organization, continue to go get guys like D-Hop, continue to go build that defense. You have everything you need out of this quarterback. It's on you guys to keep that chemistry, that continuity there, the philosophy, your approach. Make it just easy for these guys, and they will be right where they need to be in Arizona. The other team is the Jacksonville Jaguars. It makes no sense for them to move. All I keep hearing from guys around the league and people on television is Trevor Lawrence is the greatest prospect in 20, 30 years. Well, if that's true, double down on him, because you guys have some cool little pieces that you can work with, and you don't have to pay him $40 million a year over the next 4 to 5 years. So you hold on to the #1 pick. You go get Trevor Lawrence. So those are 3 teams that I think we can lean into right now.
Okay. Bill Barnwell who I personally love, and Nick, and is Bill Barnwell the GM of your fictitious franchise, Nick, or what is his role? President of football
he's
operations?
the GM.
What's Barnwell's role?
No, I'm the president of football operations. Barnwell's the GM.
You're the president.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Bill Barnwell threw out a Molotov cocktail of a trade that we just have to discuss. And it's a win for everybody, and it would set the sports world on fire. And here it is, and I'll try to go through it. I might ignore some of the details of it, just for the sake of television.
Sure.
But here it is.
Yep.
The Packers send Aaron Rodgers in the 30th overall pick to the 49ers. Jordan Love goes to the Texans. The Texans send Deshaun to the Packers. The 49ers then send Jimmy G to the Patriots. Go ahead, it's detailed. But here's the question.
Trade involving a bunch of picks.
14 trade. Go ahead.
Wait, finish, Wilds. Let Wilds finish.
I have a real question, Nick, our resident GM.
Yeah.
Please, has there ever been like a multiple team trade in the NFL? That's a real question. I don't know.
There's never been a 4-team trade in the NFL, but there's never been a 4-team trade in the NFL. But, and Wilds, I'll give it to you, that's why, if I was president of football operations, I would hire Barnwell. He's thinking outside the box. He's trying to expand the menu of options a team has.
All the boxes.
So go ahead.
So here's but I'll boil it down to where I think the crux of it is. The idea that Nick Caserio or other GMs should be figuring out what they want to do, it doesn't matter, Nick. It's what Deshaun Watson wants to do. And Brandon, God bless you. I know that you've got a lot of Jets paraphernalia and memorabilia around your house. But the idea that since Deshaun Watson holds all the cards, that he wouldn't decide to go to a place like the Packers, as wild as it sounds, or like the 49ers, or a winning franchise. I think that's the main issue. If you're Deshaun Watson, why do you want to go to a team that is not winning? And, sorry, I don't mean to hurt your feelings here, it's not like a Tom Brady situation where you're like, oh, you're just a quarterback away. The Jets are far, far away. So if I'm Deshaun, I'm looking at teams that just need me to get to the Super Bowl. Sorry, buddy. I didn't mean on a Friday.
There's some guys that are just cut from a certain type of cloth, Wilds. There's some guys that's still like just real, like the Dame Lillards of the world. It's like, you know what? I'm not going to go to L.A. I'm staying right here. I'm going to get it done. You guys are taking the easy way out. That's Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson is one of those guys in the NFL. Is like, you know what? The Jets, that's all they need is me. I'm more than enough. So that's why you do it, because of who he is and his makeup, Nick. Deshaun Watson understands that the quarterback is the most important piece. And if he has a seat at the table, hello, Houston Texans, then he's going to know that they're going to go get the Allen Robinson, a wide receiver. They're going to go get, a left tackle, right tackle, a guard, or whatever they need. And they're going to make sure they hire the right people on the defense side, which they already have. So we're right where we need to be. That's why, Wilds.
And Brandon, I got a quick question for you in a moment. What I would say is the Jets, with all that money, if they got Deshaun, would become a very attractive free agent destination. If you got Deshaun, you're already in New York and you have the money, then all of a sudden you sign free agents. But you mentioned, why would Deshaun want to go to Seattle given their issues that Russell Wilson's having? So I'm going to use an analogy here. You talk about where you grew up in Pittsburgh. I feel like it's 367 Maple Street or something. You say it a lot. It's in a very tough part of Pittsburgh. You've told us about it, right? I don't need the exact address, but you talk. Think back to where you grew up. And then think back
421
to
Mayflower
your dorm.
Street.
Mayflower, not Maple. I knew it was something like that. Okay, now think back to your dorm at UCF, okay? That dorm at UCF, when you got there, that was you were probably like, I am living. This is amazing, right? You were like, this is great.
Right.
Now, if you think back to that dorm, if you had to go live in that dorm, you'd jump off a bridge. You'd be like, I live in a palatial estate. I can't do it.
Twin size bed, Nick. I'm 6'5", 230. Right. That twin size bed won't be nice right now.
Yeah, right. But Deshaun has been playing for the Texans in that organization. Guess what? Seattle is a massive upgrade because it's what he's used to compared to something else. So even if Seattle's not great compared to what a lot of situations are, even if Mahomes were to go there and be like, what are you guys doing? Anywhere outside of Houston that is a functioning organization is going to feel great for Deshaun Watson, Jenna, because of how they have run the operations there over the last few years of his career.